so go for it.
Okay, sorry. Okay, my name is Kyra. I'm a nursing student, and recently me and a couple nursing students have spoken about the idea of having stoles for all majors. Right now, the only possibility of us wearing stoles is if you're affiliated with a national organization. So we wanted to make that option available for everyone, maybe purchasing them with your cap and gown. We started a petition for it, and we've gotten over 300 signatures. So I was told to just get the signatures and then bring it to you guys to see if you guys would like to approve it or disapprove it, however you guys felt about it. That's pretty much it.
Thank you. With open forum, Senate cannot have any discussion, so thank you for speaking. All right. Anyone else for open forum? Okay. On to speaker's podium, we have Ms. Stanley, who is the director of the library. Yeah.
Over here or just here?
Anywhere you want.
Okay. Well, I'm joined by Mrs. Alma Raladel, who is our head of public services. It's her folks that help keep us open. And I wanted to just let y'all know that I know that there's been a great deal of interest in the library staying open till 2 a.m. And I wanted to tell you that it is our intent to start October 30th. That's the Sunday. On Sunday, we will be open in the fall and spring semesters from 7:30 in the morning until 2 a.m. Well, on Sunday, we'll open like we usually do at 1. But we're planning to extend our hours, so it's midnight hours. Instead of midnight, it'll be 2 a.m. That's a full 6 weeks before finals start, too. And so then in the spring, we will do the same. We're hoping that we'll get some extra staff to do that because we do staff with more full-time staff than students or whatever. And we've met with security so that we can make sure that we still maintain a safe environment. And also a physical plan to make sure we try to at least keep the building clean, you know, and all of those things. So I wanted to share that with you. I know that's been something that has been of great interest to the students. And with the additional funding and the tuition increase, that's helping us be able to do that. I also wanted to just give you some numbers and some comparisons because I know sometimes I hear, why don't you do 24/7? Why don't you do 24/5? I just wanted to share with you that there are approximately 6 universities in the state that do at least 24/5. And one of those is includes UT Austin. And we're talking about most of those have an enrollment of over 25,000 students and have significantly more staff than we do. Now, by extending our hours to 2 a.m., that puts us in a group of about 9 other state institutions that stay open either to 1 a.m. and there's one, I think, that stays open to 3 a.m. We'll continue to assess and review our hours. We do keep very detailed head counts and assess what kind of services are being used and where we're doing. So we continue to look at and we'll continue to look at and see how our usage is going and where we need to make adjustments. But I want to encourage anybody, if you have questions about the services we provide or if there's something that you want, I appreciate the support of SGA on the hours, you know, and supporting the tuition increase to do that. So that's our first start. Now, when I say that though, I do have something I want to ask y'all. And it's based on, I said, we keep significant statistics and things. We are always open the weekend after Thanksgiving. We open on Saturdays. Everybody else gets to go home, but we're open on the Saturdays and Sundays after Thanksgiving. We have a proposal that we would like the SGA to consider. And if they're willing to consider it, if they could give us their approval. I'm going to let Ms. Rawanel do the presentation. Okay. I'd like for you just to watch what she has and hear what she has to say. And then if y'all could consider our request, I would greatly appreciate it.
And this request comes on behalf of
our colleagues and your colleagues, because some of the people who work in the library are students, and their holiday is usually cut short pretty quickly because they come back on Saturday. And this is just a little kind of humorous but yet factual presentation. Okay, twas the Saturday after Thanksgiving, all through the library. Not a student was stirring. Well, maybe a few. The clerks were all bored and twiddling their thumbs and thought to themselves, boy, this sure is dumb. We're open right now with 2 students and 2 townies, while everyone else is eating turkey and brownie. Okay, so I went too quick. These are library stats, and what we're going to show you is the Saturday stats versus Sunday after Thanksgiving, okay? Starting with 2013, we see there was a maximum at any given hour of 23 persons. And when we say persons, that's not just you guys, it's not just UT Tyler students. We have a mixture of people from in town. We have students from at least 3 other institutions, TJC, Kilgore College, Texas College, who are coming in to use our facilities because their facilities are closed for their students and employees. But we're open. So this 23 doesn't represent all UT Tyler, but represents the people who are in the library. Now, at any given hour, we had a minimum of 2, averages out to about 14 persons. Versus Sunday, I know a lot of you have come in on Sunday and seen the lines on Sunday. So what we want to offer is to kind of give some quality time instead of quantity time. With those 9 hours we're open on Saturday having such low numbers, it might be a better option, we think, for us to open earlier on Sunday instead. So we see in comparison on Sunday 120 max, 30 is the normal minimum number of persons. I'm not that great with math, but I think that represents maybe almost a 300% increase. Average number of users per hour is 85. In 2014,
Just close that, I think.
okay, in 2014, the numbers went up a bit. We see a minimum number of 5, maximum 44, average users about 23. On Sunday, they jumped up as usual, as expected, to 139. But we open at 1 o'clock on Sundays, normally. Okay, in 2015, just last year, and you should, there's some increase because once we redid that 3rd floor, we have had more students coming in, but still the maximum number of 45 compared to Sunday of 135. And then a minimum of 7 on Saturday compared to a minimum of 51 on Sunday, and that's averaging 31 on Saturday, 96 on Sunday. And Ms. Stanley has already gone over that we are planning to open until 2 a.m. That's what we would like to be able to do. And additionally, what we would like to do is to open early at 9 a.m. on Sunday. And this is so that, for the most part, so that you can get quality hours and our staff can get quality time with their family. And so I think it would be a win-win for everyone all around. So this Thanksgiving Sunday, we would like to open early if we can close on Saturday. So that's basically what we're asking. And we think quality outweighs quantity. Everyone, I think you would rather have a Mercedes than have 4 or 5 Pintos. So I just put that
also,
out
like I said, we are starting the 2 a.m. hours October 30th, 6 weeks before. So we would like to ask you to consider that just the Saturday after Thanksgiving, if we could consider being closed so that our student workers and our workers can spend more time with their family. If we open earlier on the Sunday after Thanksgiving, and it would be 9 a.m. until 2 a.m. So it's just something we would ask student government to consider. We do have a library advisory committee, and I presented this to them, and they did approve it. But we recognize the importance of having the approval of the Student Government Association.
We present this to you. Thank you.
Do you want to open up for any questions?
I'd be glad to accept any questions.
You guys have student staff working for y'all, correct?
That's correct.
How many do you guys currently have working for you?
How many
You guys
total
know?
students?
It comes out to about 10 FTE. In other words, but not all work in the same department.
Right. Okay, I was just curious.
We actually have approximately 20 full-time staff, which is actually a less number than we had in 2010. And we've expanded hours and expanded services with fewer staff. So our staff, they are there, first thing in the morning, they are there late at night. And this is just something that we were hoping we could have you consider. But we also, like I said, unlike the campus computing lab, which will be open on that Saturday, but they staff with students, our building is so big and has such hidden spaces and everything that we do keep full-time staff. We don't just, no, I'm not trying to be talk down to you, but we prefer to have adults, full-time staff for the liability issues in the building. Any other questions? Did someone online have a question? Or I didn't know what that ding was.
Oh, I think he just
Ran out of time?
Or he logged in kind of to the meeting.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Do we know how much this would increase tuition per semester?
The tuition increase has already been approved. And actually, what I had happen was I had some funds restored that we had lost. And instead of taking those funds where I had been spending them, I am moving them to support the additional hours. So.
Question.
Yes, sir.
What areas are you transferring the funds away from to finance additional hours?
We had some areas where we were spending quite a bit within the online resources, but what happened was UT System took over payment of some of that, and so it wasn't like we necessarily lost the online resources. UT System took over the payment of that, and a couple of years ago when they did that, then that chunk of funds was taken away, okay? So we've had that restored, and we're still keeping a very large, more than 80%, I would say, of that percentage to stay with our online resources so that we can still support the existing programs, the new programs that come out. But we also took some and moved it to support this hours move. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Throughout your presentation of this initiative to other committees and bodies and persons, have you faced any opposition? And if so, for what reason?
I've discussed this with the provost. I've discussed this with Howard Patterson. Both of them just told me to bring it to you, take it to the Library Advisory Committee. The Library Advisory Committee, had no problem with it, but it's a smaller group. And so it rests on y'all. And I won't cry too much if you, but I know people who will.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have people who work really hard and work late hours. But any other questions? Yes,
I have
ma'am.
more of a comment. I don't know if I want to say that right now, but I work for the gym on campus, and we actually don't close really ever except for the major holidays. So I kind of envy this. I think this is a
Now, do you have the card swipe where you can come in at any time?
No, so you have to. So we use something called Sub It Up, and you have to clock in, and your shifts are made through our manager on a system called Sub It Up.
Part of the challenge for us is the nature of our building. We have multiple departments, and it's a real security issue. When I've been to other places where they do, the extended hours and maybe they kind of block off, the way our building is designed right now, we don't have a way to provide kind of a safer area. Yes, sir.
I think just to clarify, she was asking if like students who access it through current slide.
Oh, no. Oh, I mean, they do, but I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah, there's always someone up front and
Yeah,
always
we don't have-
students.
we're
Yeah.
not, we don't have like full-time staff on the weekends or after 5
Mhm.
or during holidays, so it's just student staff. Yeah, which is different.
It's different from what we do.
Right.
The librarians also work a lot of long hours because when you're trying to do your more in-depth research, we want someone there who can try to help answer those questions and things. Any other questions? And let me say this, so I'm gonna make Hilmy. If you approve this, we will always assess. We always, like I said, we always are listening to feedback from our students. We always are assessing our services. We're looking at not just the numbers, but what kind of things people are doing and everything. And I would say that if we tried this and there was a great deal of pushback or whatever, obviously we would consider that and not, but we would like to try it. It is something different. But again, like I said, we're starting our 2 a.m. hours 6 weeks early, and those will be the hours for the fall and spring semesters. Now in the summer, going back to the 2 a.m., we won't be keeping the 2 a.m. hours because there's just not the usage.
I've got one more question. So Thanksgiving falls on a Thursday. Are you open that Friday?
We're closed Thursday and Friday.
Okay, so you'd be closed.
But we
Thursday,
always
Friday,
open
Sunday.
back up on.
Right, okay. Just making sure.
Any other questions?
I guess the one I had was pretty much just addressed, but that would be that should demand increase later on, like let's say 4 years or 5 or 8 years down the road?
Absolutely. And as I alluded to, we've already been discussing some other areas where we're thinking we need to adjust some hours, but we're starting with the 2 a.m. first. But like I said, we're constantly assessing the usage, how it's used, and looking at that and seeing where we need to make adjustments. Yes, sir.
Is there a similar trend for the Saturday and Sunday spring break? Or is that something you guys are looking into?
We're usually open, aren't we, the Saturday and Sunday? Yeah, we're
No, I'm
already
saying,
open.
no, we're not. This is the only one.
This is the only one.
This is the only holiday that we try.
If we get a holiday, we get like the one day, like maybe a Friday, but we're still open Saturday. When y'all are gone or at spring break, we're open the weekend before, or we're open the weekend after, we're open the week there. So we're just asking for that, this one Saturday.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And again, please, if you have questions of us, I welcome the opportunity to come and try to answer questions, or if you have concerns, please let us know.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. All right. Next on speaker's podium, we have Dr. Ross, who will be speaking about the dual credit study.
How many of you all took dual credit in high school? How many of y'all took AP? How many of y'all keep your hands up if you did IB? Okay, so all of you should have gotten an email from UT System earlier in the last week. I think it was on Thursday. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Good. Okay, let me explain to you what it's about. And we were really excited that the University of Texas system, which you all probably are aware of, is 8 academic units and 6 medical schools. That's Austin to UT Tyler to San Antonio to UTEP and all of that. There's a group called the Faculty Advisory Council, which is sort of the Senate of Senates, the presidents of our Senate and the Senates of all those 8 academic schools and the medical schools all gather in Austin several times a year to talk about issues that are crucial to us. But one of the ones that we've been really called upon to look at is students' preparedness for college. And one of the things that's kept coming up in conversations was they come in with dual credit and they don't know how to write, or they come into dual credit and they think that all these courses would transfer and they didn't. And we're really worried that what is happening to dual credit. And so the system heard us and have created a major study of dual credit. They are coming to our campus first to interview you all, to interview advisors, and to interview faculty to find out how is dual credit working across the state. 10 years ago, only about 10,000 kids took dual credit. A year ago, 114,000 students were taking it. And we want to make sure that if you are taking it, it's good, or if you are taking the wrong courses, how to fix that or whatever. So this is not an assault on dual credit. This is a study, a very scientific study to figure that out. So what I wanted to come here to talk to y'all about was how important it is for you all to respond to the survey and to go to those focus groups. I've got they're on tomorrow morning, and they're giving pizza and prizes. I've got the dates up here. I forgot to bring my little notebook there. But if you haven't responded, it should still be in your files, and we'd really like you to do it. The more data points we get, the better. And the faculty is also going to be interviewed. Okay, so there's a session 1 in UC 3422 from 1:15 to noon, pizza at 11. No, I'm sorry, 11:15 to noon, pizza at 11. And then there's another session, same room, UC 3422, pizza at 12:30, focus group from 12:45 to 1:30. So they're trying to set it up for 2 different times. They're eager to hear your absolute most specific comments about how it went. If it was great, we want to hear that. If it wasn't so great, we want to hear that. And all I want to say is that we really were excited. UT Tyler is the first place that they've gone to. And they were really worried. And they said that within 20 minutes of the survey going out, they already had like something like 13% return, which is actually unheard of. Usually it's about 5%. And so you all really did us proud in the first 20 minutes. But don't let us down tomorrow. If you signed up or if you haven't signed up, we still want to hear from you. Okay? Are there any questions about it? Make sense? Cool. All right.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ross. All right, last on our list for speakers podium. It was not on the agenda, but we have Caitlin Higgins.
Great, thank you. All right. My name is Katie Hicken, and I'm an officer for Turning Point USA. We just recently got this chapter set up here at UT Tyler. Previously, it was a Liberty Club. And basically, Turning Point, what we do is we're a student organization committed to informing students on issues of capitalism, free markets, free people, that kind of stuff. We typically don't really focus on elections very much, and I think that's something that's really cool about Turning Point is that we don't endorse a candidate, and instead we actually focus more on informing students on the issues. And I think personally that that's more important, and so it's something that I really appreciate about it. So we just in the last month probably we've had about 200 students sign up for our email list, and we had our opening social. It turned out really great, and so we're just still trying to get the word out a little bit. I still think a lot of people don't really know that we're here. So we're doing another event next week. It's going to be on Thursday, and it's going to be a documentary viewing. It's a documentary called Comeback, and it's about Americans and how they escape from and recover from poverty. And we think that's going to be a really mutually beneficial thing for all student organizations to come and bring their members and watch it. If you want to go ahead and click on that trailer for me, we're going to watch it really quick so you can see what it's about.
16218-78237.
75216.
People are fleeing.
There are more deaths in that zip code than in Iraq during the war.
We're on the front line of the war.
What are you doing out here tonight?
When was the last time you shut up?
Yesterday in the morning.
They got 1 foot in and 1 foot out, and they're about to go the wrong way.
I made a decision in my life. With everything happening, that I would join the Mexican cartel.
I committed a crime in 2007 and it's followed me here to 2014.
As the family goes,
It just hurts so bad.
so goes the community.
So it becomes a warlike environment.
That result in chaos, violence, confusion, and poverty.
There's life hours down to a grind, man. And it's a hell of a grind. That's why you gotta have people who remind those in this trap that it's not permanent. and that you have the ability to get out.
Nothing is more powerful or credible than a witness.
Redemption is being able to look at yourself, do some self-introspection, and say, where I go wrong at.
What is it that you are learning from yourself?
I don't want to be that person anymore. I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to let people down.
What led to that choice that made me go wrong?
I thought a man was a hustler, a gangster, a man with kids by different women. That's what I thought a man was, because I grew up without a father.
And then you got to spend the rest of your life correct. If I knew stuff I knew now, back then, I went a whole different direction.
There is a role people must play in their own uplift.
I have to come in here and tie shoestrings and water the plants. As long as I can get a paycheck, I'll do whatever it is I have to do. I put a tank in the back of the van, a pressure washer, and went around and started washing cars in the community.
Jasper's mobile car wash is taking off.
And today I stand here, the largest minority food service company here in the city.
We don't believe that folks can rise from the ashes.
Life may have knocked you down.
The judge said, you're a menace to society in this instance.
But these are females.
You all are swords of hope. You can make a comeback from anything that's holding you down.
And now the men are winning. They're getting victory in their lives because they feel like they're somebody.
This thing right here changed my life.
This life now with him, I can't even describe.
I still believe that we have the capacity within our own nation to heal ourselves.
But you have to have solutions that work.
And the movement has to do with people.
If you're going to fight a war, you better recruit some soldiers. The real heroes are the heroes.
There are social enterprises led by grassroots organizations that are very close to the people who are needy, which, if supported and empowered, can help people who otherwise would be stuck in life.
Hope keeps you going when you don't have product. See, it's nothing like being hopeful that you can make it. That gives you the ability to go places that you never thought you could go.
So the question is, what's a life worth to you? What's America worth?
What do you think is the answer to poverty? Well, let me show you what I saw.
Great, thank you. So we're really looking forward to showing this documentary. I think that, like I said, I think it's going to be something that's going to be good for everybody to watch. Not necessarily just one group or one organization that aligns one side politically. It's going to be good for everyone. It's just going to be an uplifting, just kind of informative documentary that we can all watch and just honestly like be uplifted by. We have already promoted it on our Facebook page, but we're hoping to maybe get some senators to partner with it. And you want to watch again?
I'm always here for my brother.
Okay. So I understand that there's some senator projects that have to be done. I don't know a lot about that, but if this kind of helps with any of that, it'd be great if you guys wanted to get involved and bring your student organizations. We just really just want to get the word out to make sure that we can get a lot of students here to watch it, other than just the people on our email list. I think that you guys have a much broader scope to reach people than we do. And that's pretty much it. We're hoping to just let you guys know about it and get y'all to kind of help us promote it and get some more people there. So if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Go ahead.
And what time are you doing this again?
Oh yeah, that might be important. It's going to be next Thursday, the 20th at 6 o'clock in the UC Theater. And we're going to have pizza afterwards. So that's always good. Kind of the idea with that is the pizza afterwards is that we're going to have some time for people to kind of mingle and eat pizza and talk about the documentary and that kind of thing. Good question. Anybody else? Cool. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for doing it. All right. Hey everyone, thanks for being here today. So last night, Midnight Breakfast was absolutely amazing. We had almost 500 people show up, which is unheard of. So you guys did a great job for whoever came. We did have the manager come up to us, Sodexo manager, to tell us that she's never had a college organization be this amazing at, this kind of event. She's had a lot of issues in the past with people working with Midnight Breakfast and not doing their job, and she was very, very impressed with you guys staying till the very end and helping clean up. So thank you guys again. I really appreciate it. And then next, for those who have not turned in their verification forms, those senators are no longer in SGA. They're no longer senators until further notice. But so for at the moment, all of you guys have turned in a verification form, but we have a new verification form which we need you guys to fill out. So if you guys could go up to Joshua at the end of the meeting and fill it out, that'd be great. Other than that, I don't have anything else. Does anybody have any questions for me? Yes.
Is that form just for people that haven't been showing up or for all senators?
Oh, for all senators, yeah. The new part is information release. So if you guys, for newspaper and stuff, if you want your name and your pictures and stuff to be released, that's what you'd be signing off on. Any other questions? Okay, Vice President Templeman.
I'm just going to repeat some of what she said about Midnight Breakfast. I was very happy with the way things went. We were about 20, 30 minutes in, and we were already, I had to go up to Josh and be like, so we're not going to make it on food because we ordered an increase from the attendance of the past 2 years, because I went and looked at all of our annual reports and looked at all of our attendance records, and we were guessing at 350, and that was going to give us like an extra 50 people in comparison to normal, and we went through 350 in the first 30 minutes. So it was pretty crazy. I'm glad the pizza got there and that we had some extra food and people still stayed. I really appreciate everybody who did come out and worked, and y'all guys did a great job. That being said, next event for us is Retreat. That's October 22nd. It's going to start at 9 o'clock, go to about 4 or 5, something about there. Depends on how fast we get things done. That's mandatory. That's just y'all's training so that we can get organized in here and know what to do. And that's going to be really helpful on y'all meeting all the newly elected people as well. So everybody make sure that you mark that down.
Okay, any questions for Vice President Templeman? Oh, I'm so sorry. Parliamentarian Seeley. Where's Retreat going to be?
We're going to host it on campus. I have to redo the reservation for the room because of the way the food service provider worked, but it should be admin 127.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, Secretary Martin.
I'm going to add on to Midnight Breakfast, I guess, again. But I just wanted to say that for the advertisement for the flyers that me and Parliamentarian Seeley made, it was very last minute, and we didn't get them in as soon as we'd hoped, and so we didn't get them out as soon as we'd hoped. So I was a little nervous about whether or not the word was really going to get spread and the attendance that we were going to have there, and it was great. It went really, really well. So whatever y'all did, do it again in the spring. So I just want to thank y'all for helping me and spreading the word for that. But I'll have the information for Retreat on the agendas for sure next week. But other than that, I don't have anything else.
Any questions? All right, Treasurer Nabar.
This week I've been working mainly on SGAC stuff. We edited our guidelines last week, so I will be bringing that up later in new business, and that's all. And yeah, again, great job, Midnight Breakfast. They're made me really happy to see also the senators bonding with one another, because this is an organization and you guys should also be getting a lot out of it. So that made me happy.
Any questions for Treasurer Nabar? Okay, Parliamentarian Seeley.
Hey guys, been having a great week in the parliamentarian area. First, head of constituency forms are due 2 weeks from now. Right now I only have 2 of those. That's really important. It's a chance for you to get involved in your college so you can know what's going on in the area that you're representing and what you can do to help out your constituents and to improve not only your college experience but everyone else's. Last day of elections is tomorrow, so if you have not been to Info Table polling station in the last 3 opportunities, tomorrow's your last opportunity, or you will receive an absence. I've been keeping a list. I know who you are. You know who you are. Take care of that. And I'm just so excited that next week we're going to have a bunch of new senators come in, and I really want to just express how important it is that you guys who have been here the whole time are here next week as best you can, so we can kick off with our new senators and hopefully a full Senate as soon as possible. Midnight breakfast was fantastic. Super excited, and keep up the good work, fam.
Thank you. Any questions for Parliamentary Seeley? Yes, Senator Seeley.
What is the table time for tomorrow?
11:30 to 2 p.m. If you have class or something like that, absence form to Secretary Martin, and you'll be all chill.
Thank you. Just a quick thing to piggyback off of what she said. Make sure you let your constituents know to vote, so we have a high voting rate. All right, next we have student voice reports, student body at large. Yes, Senator Baker.
So evidently Chick-fil-A has raised their prices. I found out today, I heard some people talk about it yesterday, and then I went in there today and they have raised their prices. I don't know why, I don't know who is over that Chick-fil-A. I don't know if it's like a franchise deal or if it's Sodexo or what the deal is, but I just wanted to bring that to everyone.
Thank you. I was not aware of that. Any other concerns for student body at large? Oh, I'm so sorry. Senator Mosley.
To answer your question, I understand that Chick-fil-A Express is owned by, it's not owned by the company Chick-fil-A. It's owned by, like, goes through Sodexo. So that would be like a Sodexo.
Yeah, that is a Sodexo. Any food service provider, or they're the food service provider on campus, so anything food related goes through them. It's kind of like how we have Starbucks, but they're not really a Starbucks, which is why you can't use gift cards. So that's, yeah, any of the Chick-fil-A stuff. I guess the best route to go with that is to add that to the survey for Sean. I'm sure he's thrilled that that's the way that that's going to have to be worked out, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Any other comments from student body at large? No? Okay, Houston campus. Okay. Thank you. All right, and then Ornelas Hall.
Yeah.
They said no, right? No. Okay. Ornelas Hall?
Yeah, so there's been numerous complaints of Wi-Fi just being piss poor, and so I started doing a speed test, not just at Ornelas Hall, but at the library, because they're telling students to go to the library to take their online quiz, and they're getting kicked off at the library too. And once you get kicked off an online quiz, you're basically done. You can't get back in. So whatever grade you made is whatever. And so that is a problem. And I looked into it. Their Sunlink is Sunlink Business. It's 50 megabytes of internet per second. And so I looked at it. It's roughly around the time about 10:30. It's 1 to maybe 5 megabytes per second at OHO. And yesterday at the library, I did a speed test, and it was around about the same thing, except it was about 10. And I did Ethernet too, and that's a little better, but it's still pretty piss poor. So I don't know if there's a high possibility, because this does happen, that I know they paid for a new thing, upgraded all, that was like last semester, but there's a high possibility that the school is paying for something that they're not getting, or the service isn't being fulfilled fully by Sunlink on their part. So something should be looked into in that.
Okay.
Point of information. Sometimes what's called throttling can occur, where you have a lot of information that's trying to go through, like, let's say you have like a funnel and you have like 6 gallons of water that you're trying to pour through a tiny funnel. Well, you can only get so much through at a time, and then you have a lot of people who are trying to use the service. That little bit of information that's been split from when it comes in initially to the campus to OHAL and to the library or wherever else gets divided up even more. And you think of that water at speed, it's just going to get slower and slower and slower. So that's why I think that would a loss potential at Summit, that's probably going to be more on our infrastructure.
I agree with that, but at, people are supposed to be in class at 9 o'clock, and when you can't load a web page at 9 o'clock, yeah, there's a problem.
I'm not saying it's not a concern, it's still a concern.
Wait, point of order, please wait to be recognized by President Srinivasan before you speak. Senator Baker?
I'm not very good with technology, so but I will say that the Wi-Fi, I have gotten a lot of complaints. It does tend to be really slow, and it doesn't seem to matter if it's 10:30 at night or it's at 3 in the afternoon or what time it is. It seems to be pretty slow. So to take the funnel analogy, is there a way that we could increase the capacity to handle all this information?
That would just be done using or just investing money in infrastructure. That costs money, obviously. So that could be done, but I'm not qualified to speak on how.
But did they spend a ton of money last semester or over the summer updating all the internet things? So that's where, because they didn't have Sunlink Business, which is the Sunlink's like top platform for like major companies and stuff. Last semester and in the fall, so that's where I come to the conclusion of maybe they're paying for something and they're not getting like the full, because like the first 2 weeks it was like, okay, this is not bad, this is great, but then like I don't know, people didn't know how to like get on, because like the first week and a half, great, first like after that downhill rapidly, and it's been like that ever since.
Senator McDaniel?
I know one thing that they've like been stressing on is like the last semester. I know at Eagles we were allowed to have like routers. I know since settling came about, like we're not allowed to have routers anymore. So I don't know if it could be based on like the RA's stress more, because I know for the complexes it's going to be people that are having routers, like because I'm in building 6 and there was one person that had a router in building 6 and no one else could connect to the internet because that one router soaked in all of our internet abilities, I guess. So if you have people stressing that it's not routers,
Thank you. Parliamentarian Seeley? I guess my question is, next step, I guess, like, this is clearly a problem, like, the infrastructure. Where do we go now? Like, does Advisor Neves or anyone, like, do we know administratively who we go to talk to help improve this problem?
Okay. Well, what we can do is that your concern would go to the student affairs, and if you have any concerns, any more concerns about this would go straight to him, and then from there he would delegate where that information would go to. But Vice President Templeman?
To address what Senator McDaniel said, I believe the reason they asked to cut down on the routers originally was because that Eagles Landing had suddenly come out and redo the entire system. So it was supposed to be increased for the entire system. Also, we didn't want students paying extra money for their own routers in their own rooms when Suddenlink was supposed to be providing internet for those rooms at the sufficient rate. It's double charging students so that they can make a killing off of the students wanting faster internet while the apartment complex is having everybody already charged for it. So honestly, I think that the best place to go to for this is if we were to reach out to IT and see if we can get some, that might be the place to go. Josh, do you have anything else that you'd suggest?
Let's kind of go off of the parliamentarian's question. There's a couple of ways y'all can address this. And this is something that y'all always, student government, always tends to have a conversation about. Wi-Fi, parking, food. Those are the three common things that students get frustrated with. There's nothing wrong with that. I think there's a couple of ways to approach it. Just as a quick, some information, there's two sides of it. There's the on-campus side of it, and then there's the residence hall side of it. They're completely two different things. Our IT department does not support the residence halls. solidly supports the director. And then everything else, the academic buildings, the library, the university center, that is supported by our IT department. And so my recommendation would be for this to be a dual committee efforts from student affairs and on the on-campus component, and on the residence life committee and on the residence hall component. For the on-campus, you want to talk to Michael Vick, who is the director of IT, or the vice president who oversees information technologies. And then for the residence halls, you're going to want to talk to the director of housing, which is Jimmy Waters. And then if the committees if the committees have issues with that, then the executive board can then take action and then have a conversation with the president's council and or the president.
Thank you. Any other concerns from Ornelas Hall? No? All right, committee reports, we have student life.
Obviously, my committee spent a lot of time last Friday on midnight breakfast, and that was, I'm not going to reiterate what we've already said 4 or 5 times, but we'll be covering retreat next time. So that's all I got.
Thank you. Communications committee?
This last few weeks, we've just been working on advertisement, whether it's posters, flyers, just spreading the word about elections and midnight breakfast. So we'll continue to do that a little bit with elections this last day, but other than that, that's been canceled.
Thank you. SGAC?
So we met last week and this week, and the last 2 weeks, we had 5 organizations, I believe. It was 5 organizations that requested funds, and we approved them for different things like either food or for separate organizations.
Do you want to state if you want, you can skip organizations. Do you mind stating?
Oh, yeah. So we had Tri Beta Biological Honor Society, Tri Beta Biological Honor Society again, different 2, Beta Alpha Psi, the Accounting Society, and Peers Against Tobacco.
Thank you. Rules committee?
So we didn't meet this week due to the farm school final schedule, which is where our farm senators are tonight, but we did meet last week, and we delved into reviewing and revising the bylaws, and we'll discuss more on that next week.
Thank you. Student affairs?
We met 2 weeks ago to work on this index of Qualtrics survey, which we'll get into later. We did not meet this week.
Thank you. Residential life?
We met the last 2 weeks. We made an email for SGA residence life and a Facebook page so that people can address their problems through there, and we'll have written documentation of what people are having issues with in housing.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Old business. Qualtrics survey?
Motion to discuss this.
All in favor of discussing the Qualtrics survey, say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? Any abstentions? Okay. The motion has passed to discuss for the Qualtrics survey. Present.
Did you send it to?
As he's bringing that up, I just want to remind everybody to please speak up loudly, just to make sure that we can capture the audio from the Zoom recording, and also so that the distance campuses can effectively hear you all speak.
Okay, so we streamlined the survey to where it's actually shorter now. It's only going to be a very long survey if you use all of the services that's provided by Sodexo, which I'll show you here in a minute.
Can you hold Control Plus?
It's plus. I was doing wrong, but I was trying.
Okay, the first questions, of course, is going to be your student classification. We added graduate. We're not going to leave them out this time around. And of course, where do you live, on campus and off campus? I'm just going to go through the survey and I'm just going to click on me. Next is what Sodexo services do you use? We made all the names of the coffee shops, which is Blends and Brews in the University Center, Covalent Cafe and Pharmacy, and Liberty Station in the business. And so this is the cool part now, because I don't eat at the Met, but I do eat at Chick-fil-A. And these three, I will only get questions for what I picked. So, which makes it easier for the students to take the survey. Rating the food at Subway, put bad, okay, good, great, and then I have a comment section for each one. This is for Holy Habaneros. This is for Chick-fil-A. I will add a price question next Tuesday. Swoop and Go, again, the service, the products, and which products would you like to see offered? I don't know, it's a very small store now. Maybe you're not getting what you wanted from last year. So I've added that where you can comment on that. And then once you're done with that, you'll come to this. It'll say, do you believe that students not eating at the Met should be allowed to sit with those who are? Yes, no, not applicable. I put a completely unsatisfied to completely satisfied survey on the wait time for each Sodexo, that's Subway, the Met, Chick-fil-A, and so forth. I would like to-go boxes to be made available at the Met, yes, no, or not applicable. And then how would you rate the overall performance of Sodexo? Bad, okay, good, great, and then another section for comments. And that is the survey.
Senator Ryder?
I've got a question. I think I talked to you about this 2 weeks ago.
I'm sorry. We need to have a motion for discussion.
Oh.
So
Motion
can I?
for discussion. Second.
Okay, all in favor of opening discussion for Culture Survey, say aye. Aye. All those who oppose? Any abstentions? All right, motion has been passed to open up discussion. Senator Rivera.
So I think I've spoken to you about this 2 weeks ago, but I've had several students ask if we can serve breakfast from Chick-fil-A. But I didn't see a question like if maybe you want to add that, like services or products offered at Chick-fil-A or something.
I will add that. Yes. I'll discuss it.
Senator Mosley?
I talked to you about this a couple of days ago, and some of the people are complaining about the high prices at the C-store, extremely high prices. And maybe you could incorporate that.
Yeah, I'm going to have a price question for each probably for each one now. One for Swoop and Go and one for each Sodexo service, especially now that I've learned that Chick-fil-A raised theirs. So we'll incorporate one of those questions into the survey.
Senator Zerlin?
One question on the function of the survey. I have like different levels of satisfaction, and then you have comments in the same section. Could you only click good or bad? Because if you only click good and then you also have a comment, then
I think I set it up to where you can click both. You can click good and bad. It's not a circle. It was a square question.
Yeah.
And those square questions allow you to answer multiple.
You might consider putting that as a separate little subsection, just because then somebody click good through bad, they click every single one for their result, just doesn't mean anything.
That makes sense.
Senator Rivera?
I have a comment, like at the very end, it asked like about Sodexo. I know some students on campus didn't even know what Sodexo was. So maybe like in parentheses, you just put like the service provider or something. Yeah.
I have a question. Senator Mark.
This is going through the student's Patriot email, correct?
Eventually.
Okay.
Once we get, this is not the final.
Yeah.
Again, I have to add questions now thanks to the Chick-fil-A raising prices. But we're going to take all this into consideration. We're going to meet next Tuesday. We're going to work on it again. I will have to present this again next time, and hopefully it will be the final time. And then we can get it out to everybody through the reports.
Vice President Templeman?
I'm glad we've looked into this several times and started to get a lot of good feedback on this. However, we do really need to get this expedited and get this out there so that we can get something done before it becomes too late. So I would probably like to see that we take some form of action on this probably as soon as next week. And so let's try and make sure that we get it right today. That's what I'm getting at.
Thank you. Senator Zerlin?
Motion to table discussion on the Sodexo survey until next meeting.
Okay, all in favor of tabling the Sodexo survey until next week, say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? Any abstentions? Okay, Sodexo survey has been tabled until next week. Okay, thank you. Library hours, 2 weeks ago they were tabled. So can I entertain a motion to open up discussion on library hours?
Second.
All in favor of motion, or I'm sorry, all in favor of opening up discussion on library hours, say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? Any abstentions? Okay, we're now open for discussion for library hours. Senator Baker?
I think that it would be very beneficial for both parties if we gave them that Saturday off. I don't think that's ridiculous that they asked for it, especially since we're asking them to stay open an extra 2 hours 4 or 5 times a week for a much longer period of time than 1 day. So.
Thank you. Senator Mosley?
It makes no sense for them to also spend less time with their family and have to come up here and spend time and money to pay who's ever working in the library when nobody should look. I think we should give them that set.
Senator Golden?
Yeah, I'd just like to echo the support that the senator raised. I also support that, I think it's great what they're doing, extending the hours for us. And I don't see any reason, especially given the data that was provided, not to support this initiative and letting them have the Saturday of Thanksgiving off.
Vice President Templeman?
I think we've all gotten to the point where we pretty much agree on this. So I would like to make a motion to, approve a proposal to accept or to approve the proposal presented to us by the library.
Okay, all in favor of approving the proposal that the librarian gave over extension of hours, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motion has been passed.
Thank you very much.
Of course. All right, any other old business? Senator Golden?
I move we take from the table and open up to discussion the matter of the food pantry that was brought up 2 weeks ago.
Okay. All in favor of opening up the discussion on food pantry, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions?
Aye.
Okay, discussion for food pantry is now on table. Senator Golden.
Yeah, so this is something, when it was first brought up, it was something that really struck me hard and I really cared about. And it's stuck with me since then. This was something I was going to bring up last week. But due to circumstances, here we are. I guess I'm opening discussion more to get information, as I haven't been to the retreat yet and understand how all these things work. I'm sure that constitutionally and given our budget situation, we can, or our hands might be tied in the means of making a long-term commitment to this initiative. However, I hear people throwing around the words Senator project all the time. And so if I could get a little bit of information on that, that, from what I understand, might be a way to get this moving forward. That would be something that I would be interested in.
Okay, Center Projects is normally in the hands of either Vice President Templeman or Parliamentarian Seeley. So does either one of you want to respond to that question? You go ahead. I'm calling up the concept.
All right.
Vice President Templeman?
So as far as I understand it, is that we've always stood by the fact that we want Senator Projects to benefit the student body first, the senator who's promoting the project. We want you to gain something out of it as well. And it also reflects well on our organization. So those are kind of our 3 standards that we hold for senator projects. Last year, we had a couple of projects that fit those guidelines but weren't necessarily long-term. And so this year we were hoping to see some more long-term goals being accomplished there. So I would see the food pantry exceeding all of those qualifications. The budget that we have for senator projects is $5,000. That is for the whole year. And so essentially what would need to be done is you would need to research what it is that your project is going to cover. So the food pantry, for example. You would need to figure out what it is that we're buying, and then how it will exist in the space that we receive from the Space Committee. So I will work with you I'm sure the treasurer and parliamentarian as well, to make sure that you're staying within the budget for the project and that you're constitutionally in line. So if you want to just reach out to me by email and come to one of my office hours, we can knock out the beginning processes of this. And then what we would like for you to do is that you would present your project to the Senate. And if the Senate approves it, then it would become an actual project and that it would come out of the budget after that point.
So just in the beginning stages, conduct my research, get with the right people, find out what we need, how much it's going to cost, how it's going to benefit us, and how it's going to benefit the project as a whole. Gather that, sit down with you, and then formalize it by bringing it to the board.
Yes.
Thank you.
Vice President Suppleman?
Is there any other questions not regarding senator projects that might not necessarily be the food pantry? Is there anything anybody else would like to know?
Are they going to get assigned to us, or do we go to y'all and say we want to do this?
We would like for you to, last year the way it was done is that the people who were presenting projects started all of that research on their own, and when they had the plan in place, they came before the Senate. So if you have something that you want to do, you can always come to us and we can guide you through that process, and then when it's fully planned out, that's when it'll come up in here.
Any other questions about food pantry? Senator Watt?
Motion to end discussion about the budget.
Second. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, about what?
Motion to end discussion about this.
But were we discussing about food pantry?
We were discussing senator projects.
Is that what the motion was for?
The initial motion was on
Food pantry.
Motion to end discussion on food pantry.
All in favor of ending the discussion on the food pantry, say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? Any abstentions? Okay, discussion has ended. Any other old business? Okay, any new business? Treasurer Navarre.
I motion to present the SGAC guidelines.
Second. All in favor of presenting the SGAC guidelines, say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? Any abstentions? Okay. Floor is now open to SGAC guidelines. Yeah.
Okay, so my committee got together, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and
we realized that there was an issue of people coming to us with requests at like the week before their event or even like 3 days before their event, and processing it, like getting it to me, then giving it to advisor Deeves and giving it to our budget authority. It's difficult and it's a big process and it takes time. So we voted on this and we approved this, and we wanted to insert the clause that organizations must request SGAC funds 14 days before their scheduled event. This is more to make the process a little bit more efficient and to be easier on us and as well as them. So students are aware that they have to do it in this amount of time so we can get it processed on our end, rather than just being like, hey, we expect the money to come 3 days before event, when in reality, that's not gonna happen. So this time, what in the guidelines in the Constitution, you guys also have to vote on it and approve it. So this time, I would like to motion to open up discussion on SGAC guidelines.
All those in favor of discussing the SGC guidelines, say aye. Aye. All those who oppose? Any abstentions? Okay, discussion is now on table. Parliamentarian Sealy.
Treasurer Navarro, do you like just have an estimate, like the average amount of time it takes to put a request through? Is it 14 days or is that like a buffer period of time?
What do you mean put a request through?
Like to go from receiving a request form to actually dispersing funds to said organization?
Good question. It actually depends on how many requests I get in. So, because sometimes Monday I'll get maybe 3 or 4 requests in. So that meeting, I can only meet with 3 organizations because it takes about an hour to meet with all 3 of them. And so we wouldn't be able to meet till the next one, till the other week. So this also allows that time frame to kind of be allotted for.
Advisor Needs.
To also add on that, I am the person who makes the purchase. And so my schedule is also very complex. And so depending on the item that the student organization is requesting, will also dictate the process of how the funds will be used. And so there's some cases where the process can take, it could be instant, to where the SJC says yes, and they're getting items from Walmart, and so I need to go to that Walmart and just swap my card. And there's other cases where, for example, if we're ordering T-shirts, we'd have to go back and forth and get those quotes, the invoices, make sure the logos are correct, and then I have to set up a payment process for getting. I have to go through the approval process myself in order to pay the funds out. And so, so for that particular thing, it could take up to 14 to 21 days from start to finish to make that process. The 14 days was also a recommendation. Everything we seem to do here is 14 days. Your room reservations, your food approval forms, your fundraising forms, all that has to be submitted in advance, 7 to 14 days. Most of it's 14 days, and so this will kind of align with that as well.
Thank you.
I motion to vote on the SGAC guidelines.
Second. All in favor of voting for the SGC guidelines, say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? Any abstentions? Okay, motion has passed. Did I say motion has passed?
Motion's passed.
Motion's passed. I'm sorry. Okay, so SGC guidelines have not been passed.
Motion to vote on them has passed, and now we have to vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Senator Zerla.
Motion to vote on the SJC guidelines.
Okay. All those in favor of voting on the SGC?
So now we're voting strictly on the guidelines, so all in favor of approving the SGC guidelines.
I'm sorry. Okay, all in favor of approving the SJC guidelines, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, SJC guidelines have been approved now. Okay, sorry about that. Any other new business? Senator Rivera?
I'd like to make a motion to discuss commencement regalia.
I'm sorry, what?
Commencement regalia.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, all in favor of discussing about commencement regalia, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, discussion is now open. Senator Rivera.
So I was talking with some other students on campus, and I looked on our website, and we are only allowed, according to like UT policy, we're only allowed for commencement, we're only allowed to wear one stole, no matter how many organizations you're in. And I personally, I would like to wear, I'm in 3 different organizations.
Do you mind speaking up?
I'm sorry?
Do you mind speaking up?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry.
Thank you.
We're only allowed to wear one stole. You're not allowed to wear multiple to represent the multiple organizations you might be in. And I would personally like to wear, I'm in NSLS, SGA, and FMA, and I would be able to wear stoles for each or cords. And I looked at every UT branch system, and we're actually the only school that states we are only allowed to wear one stole to represent one organization. UTEP doesn't do that, UTSA, UT Austin, UTB, UTPA, UTRGV. So I guess I don't know how to do this, but I'm just asking if we're how to vote on that.
Okay. Well, it's open for discussion right now. So is there anyone else who'd like to chime in on this conversation? Senator Hart.
So like, will we just have to take this to a higher authority and discuss this with them as well, or would this be something we would propose ourselves?
It would go through higher authority, but Advisor Neese, do you want to?
There's a couple routes on this one as well. I think you, SGA can make a recommendation. I don't necessarily think y'all can make a decision and it's a change. I do definitely think the Senate could vote for some sort of type of endorsement that we would like to see this change, see it change to what. That's one route. The other routes you could have the senators, and or a student affairs committee meet with the dean of students, which is Oliver, to discuss that and to see, because that policy falls under her office, was located under her office. And then she'd be a good point of contact to see if that's something that she can change, or if that's going to have to go to Dr. Mayberry or the next president, depending on the time frame on which this is handled. And so those are the different avenues on which you can, SGA can handle.
Great, thank you. Treasurer Nabar? I think with that being said, I think it would be beneficial before we take a vote on this to go talk to Ms. Ona Tolliver, see what information, to kind of be more specific on what route we need to take, and then kind of just go from there on the voting aspect of it.
Parliamentarian Seeley?
Sorry, I'm only a sophomore, so I don't really know a whole lot about the commencement regalia, but are stoles the only option offered by student organizations?
You can wear a stole, you can wear the cords, like I can wear an SGA stole. I can wear my NSLS cord, my SVO cord, my ATME cord.
Okay.
I can wear as many cords as I want, but I can only wear one stole.
So are there some organizations that only offer a stole? A cord is not an option? I'm sorry, I'm just confused why this is a problem if there are other options. I'm trying to get, I don't know anything about it, so I'm just trying to get clarification.
Vice President Templeton?
I believe we only offer stoles. We don't have cord, correct?
SGA has a stole.
Okay.
And that comes into effect as, if we were to buy stoles and cords so that each senior could have a stole and a cord, or whichever one they cost, it doubles the expenses for our organization to have stoles and cords. So that's probably a common trend amongst organizations, especially considering not, some of these organizations are probably not funded, or I think you said ATME, they're probably not funded through the school, are they?
Advisor Neves?
To give more information about regalia, first policy says students may wear only one regalia item that you represent in your organization, stole or cord, but not both. Cords and stoles are typically determined by organizations that are affiliated with a national office, that are nationally affiliated, and the national office helps coordinate that in most cases. And so not every single organization has a stole or cord. Those are departmental funded. It can be up to that organization on how they want to fund the stole or cord. Some groups, the members have to pay out of pocket for that, or in some cases, the organization pays for it. So there's that piece. And then the second is also to take into consideration the information that was shared at the very beginning of the meeting regarding an open forum. And so there's a petition out there that students want stoles to represent their majors. So also throw that out there for y'all to talk about.
Any discussion? I'm sorry, Senator Hart.
I'd like a motion to table discussion for next week.
Second. Okay, all in favor of tabling the regalia discussion for next week, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, so then tabled for next week. Any other new business? Okay, advisor comments.
Quick show of hands, who stayed till 1 o'clock last night? So I just want to give y'all a round of applause. Everybody please round of applause. Pretty successful. I think the total count came out for 78. That's, or maybe a little off on that. So it's almost 500. And so that is a huge turnout for an event. And it goes to show that we have a very active student body. And we're growing. At the very beginning, they talked about new verification releases. I want for everybody to redo it again, so that way I can double check to make sure that you are a full-time student. And then on this release, there's a section, I'm going to give a little bit more information. It's about releasing your information. The primary use of this is I need your permission to post your email on our website because it's an official publication, it's an official way to broadcast it's out there. And so anybody can see it, not just students, but faculty, staff, off campus. And so I need your permission to release that information. And then as we continue to make updates to the website, there may be options to where if you want your phone number listed, I can do that, and then your major, so that way your constituents know who you are and get hold of you in the area that you represent. And so I need your permission. You don't have to give me permission. You can actually decline. And I will actually just put the SGA contact information, and then contact SGA, and then the officers can then contact you with that. So you don't have to have your information out there, but I need your consent either way, whether you want it on there or not. So afterwards, if you can also buy, pick up one of these. If you've already done it, don't worry about it. You don't have to do it again. There's a few as well that sold by my office. And then that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Announcements? All right. Can I entertain a motion for adjournment?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of adjourning, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Secretary Martin, if you could dispense roll call for me, please.
Yes. President Spring Boston.
Here.
Vice President Tippleman.
Here.
Treasurer Barr.
Present.
Parliamentary Sealy. Here. Senator Adebayo. Senator Adeshola. Senator Allen.
Here.
Senator Baker.
Here.
Senator Cantu. Senator Golden.
Here.
Senator Guy. Senator Hart. Here. Senator Huff. Senator Jawad.
Here.
Senator Johnson.
Here.
Senator Kosich.
Here.
Senator McDaniel. Here. Senator Mosley. Here. Senator McBrady.
Here.
Senator Fagundes. Senator Rivera. Here. Senator Rogers.
Here.
Senator Severin.
Here.
Senator Shelton. Senator Zorla.
Here.
Okay. Meeting adjourned.
You didn't do your veterans fundraiser announcement.
What?
Your veterans fundraiser?
Oh, that's
I was like, I don't know if he's gonna do it. Hey, James,
Hey,
how are
how's it
you?
going?
Good.
It's nice calling on you.
Thank you.
Do you have a minute to ask you questions about the SGA?
Oh, thank you.
Guidelines? Is it okay?
Yeah.
Thank you for speaking. You did great.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
No,
No, you did good.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.